60. Among other minor questions, was asked to verify his age. This is 94.3 Fullcast FM. Now, online now is Stephen Amoah. Stephen Amoah is aspiring for the National Youth Organizer of the party NPP. Stephen, good evening and thank you very much for joining us.
Good evening and you're welcome.
Okay, Stephen, the Alliance for Accountable Governance has issued a statement, a press release in respect of, they say they are not actually happy about the way government has increased taxes recently. They mentioned road tolls that have been increased, according to them, over 1,000%, and then taxes on various basic commodities such as water have all been increased drastically, while the fees charged by almost all government departments and agencies have also been raised. Is there justification for all these tolls?
Thank you very much. My greetings to UST students. I've missed them so much. Anyway, my brother, on a more serious note, NDC government is the only government that under these circumstances will try to rather withdraw money from the system and keep it on the government chest. When every government all over the world is trying to make sure that it rather releases money into the system to ensure that the economy grows. I'm so surprised that at this time that almost every commodity on the market in our country today, the price has gone up. People are suffering. There's no money in the system. And the NDC government rather is doing what should be done. On the contrary, it is very, very, very bad. And besides, the percentage increase is unprecedented occurred in the history under any government in any country where you increase a component over 1,000%. It is incredible. So I'm surprised. And they are finding themselves with inflation. Maybe they lack the technical expertise. I should put it. We won't talk about monetary and fiscal policy management. And it is too simple. Whenever there is too much money in the system and the people are spending so much, because inflation goes up. So the government has to adjust its monetary policy position by making sure that interest rate increases, and the fiscal policies by making sure that they increase our taxes and introduce new tax systems to ensure that more money is withdrawn from the system, so that we correct the inflation and make sure that we have a very constructive economic growth. And then on the other hand, when the opposite is happening, the government does opposite. And that is why I'm surprised that the NDC government is actually not considering what is happening today. The government is not considering the hardship that is actually confronting the people of this country, and is still going ahead to increase the hardship by increasing taxes. This is very, very bad. This is very unprecedented. And that's why I think afag, which I am a member, is trying to draw this government attention to the fact that it was the same government that campaigned on the platform of this misconception that NPP government was not actually pro-poor. Look at the NDC government. 3 months that it actually took over from the NPP, it increased and influenced the central government to increase interest rates. And you know that about 90% of the business firms in this country borrow money from the bank. Hardly you see firms using equity financing to start business. They all borrow from the bank. So the cost of production in the country suddenly was increased because of the decision that NDC government took. And now the price of goods and services on the market has gone so high that it's affecting the final consumer. Put that aside. And the government also reduced taxes on yellow corn and rice that were imported or that are imported into this country, knowing well that those that are actually produced by the local growers cannot meet the demand on the market. So of course, farmers will still import at a very high cost, and they will transfer that cost component onto the final price, which the consumer, that is the ordinary man on the street, are buying that. And a lot of people cannot now buy the quantity or the amount of rice that they used to buy to feed their family. Put that aside, the government went ahead to increase even taxes on alcoholic beverages that are consumed by that, so that they will use the money to ensure redistribution to benefit the poor. But the NDC government, rather, it's ridiculously taking decisions that are rather affecting the poor. That is not pro-poor. And they also pride themselves, calling themselves that they are social democrats. So considering all these factors, we are trying to remind the NDC government what they said before the Ghanaians, the people of this country, give the government that we are having today their mandate. Of course, with the flow of waterfowl, they are now in government, and they are doing contrary. It looks like all the decisions that the government is taking are decisions that are adversely affecting ordinary men on the street. And besides, we are not seeing its corresponding development. The NDC government is rather concentrated on power consolidation policy. We don't see any monumental development. We don't see any tangible development. All that we get to do, it's about propaganda. It's about talking about things that they have not achieved. Only projects that NDC government started, most of them that the funds have already been raised, are things that the NDC government is trying to buy itself. So we are talking about the fact to reposition itself so far as its monetary and fiscal policy management is concerned, to have some sort of mercy on the other payment, because Kenyans are suffering.
Okay, Stephen, if I'm correct, you're a member of afag, right?
I am.
Okay, and then you're also a member of the MPP, now aspiring for the National Youth Organizer. Now, considering the what we've been told as hardships faced by government in the handling of the economy, what would the MPP government have done differently?
Okay, let me tell you. MPP government, in fact, I am saying that introducing or increasing taxes is so bad and that we are condemning. No, we are talking about the tyrant.